just an understanding that the behavior continues. We call that duration. We don't change anything else. We don't move. We don't distract the dog. None of that. We just teach the dog, hey, if
Hi,
you
Chase.
in pain with our good marker. The second D, we add distance between us and the dog. We move away. We have to teach the dog, no, you only get the reward when you stay. This is also about teaching implied stay, where we tell the dog good when they're right and no when they change in an unwanted way. So that's a marker for non-reinforcement, no. So we add some distance, and then we can recall the dog to us, or we can go back and pay them. When we're in that duration phase, though, let's rewind one. The way that I usually, a lot of times dogs are really motivated for the reward. They really want it. I say, don't give the dog a reason to leave if you want them to stay. So I bring the reward all the way to their nose, and I deal it to them one at a time, this close. I'm up here, and I'm coming to the dog. The dog has a reason to try to come up here and leave the behavior. You see how that works? And this goes for sit. It goes for down. It goes for stand in place. It goes for place bed. It goes for foot target. Anything that we can teach the dog to keep doing, the same recipe applies. These 3Ds. So we have duration, distance, and you could include movement of you in that. And then we have, I'm talking about pretty basic movement. And then the third D we have is distraction. So distraction, we could also think of distraction as a non-D word. We could call it competing motivation. If you stuck around earlier this morning, you saw dogs with certain behaviors and there was a high level of competing motivation for those dogs, right? Think of like squirrel. Competing motivation. I really want the squirrel. I really don't want to stay because the food is only so good, right? That's competing motivation. So when we think about competing motivation, it fits into several different categories that we should think about and approximate in our training sessions so that when we're adding those distractions, we don't get surprised that our dog can deal with one type of competing motivation and can't deal with others. Because that can definitely be a problem if you get into a little bit new situation and your dog has not experienced a certain motivation, doesn't override their training. One of those might be defensiveness. Defensiveness with dogs might be a new dog. It might be a weird person. It might be a noise they've never heard before. It might be there's traffic. All of the above, right? So competing motivation can be defensive. When your dog has that kind of competing motivation, there is reinforcement value to be had when it goes away. And this is for anything that produces some sort of anxiety in our dog. When that thing goes away, whatever our dog was doing that made it dissipate provides the dissipation of that anxiety or that defensive feeling provides a reinforcement effect to whatever they did to accomplish that. Because they don't like that feeling. When it goes away, they get reinforced. If they were barking at it, trying to chase it or drive it off, then they're learning to chase it and drive it off and bark at it. If they were on place, looking at you intently, then there's reinforcement value that applies to the behavior they were doing when the creation of that anxiety, whatever that thing was, when it goes away. Okay, this is just environmental negative reinforcement. If any of you want an example of it, go stand too close to the campfire, and when you feel too hot, step away from it. You feel better. Don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt your dog, right? But perfect example of negative reinforcement. You got too close, you got too hot, you stepped away, you felt better. Super simple. Absolutely concrete example of how your dog feels about anxiety. That's too hot. I want away from it. I want to fight or flight. And if you teach them that their obedience behavior solves that problem for them, they will obey. It's not always easy. That's why we try to keep them what we call below threshold. meaning a point they can handle it, and teach them at a level they can handle it, make the right choices. Then we're sure we get that reinforcement value to the behavior we want, not to an unwanted behavior. Because it will naturally, a lot of you got big dogs and pointy-eared dogs, and they can bark, and when they bark at somebody, the likelihood that they're going to go away is pretty high. And if they learn that drill of, I didn't like that person, I didn't like that dog, I barked at it, it went away, guess what? That's called training them to bark.